Good afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to the April edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Rachel Gillum.
And I'm Nick Bogle. So Rachel, did you go to any of the state basketball games?
Yeah, I played in the pep band.
Ellie tells us more about the boys' big win.
Northwest's boys basketball team had an exciting victory over Wichita Heights on March 11th as they captured the school's 6th state title. The team battled their way to the top to avenge a loss to the Falcons a year ago in the title game.
It feels really good, especially beating Heights again after they beat us last year in a devastating way, really.
It's a blessing. I mean, we've put in a lot of work to get here, and we've had some rough endings over the past couple of years, especially last year. So just all the hard work we put in, and it's really relieving to finally get what we've been working for.
I mean, we kind of had this goal to make it this far and to beat Wichita Heights again. They were the other best team in the state, so it was good.
The hard work paid off for the Huskies. BV&W prepared from day one to take on the work that comes with capturing a state title.
Well, it was one of our goals. We didn't shy away from it. We thought that we played a schedule that was going to have us battle tested and ready. And then it was just taking care of each other, making sure that we were healthy towards the end of the year, playing our best basketball. And then once we got to the state tournament, just kind of being calm in those moments of the storm and just taking it game by game. And we thought if we could do that, then we would have a chance.
Just trying to stay locked in and focus on one game at a time and not looking ahead at games, not looking forward to the state championship game or the semifinals game if we were playing in the quarterfinals. Just focusing on the moment and kind of just living in the moment in that time period.
In the end, it's clear that the Huskies have a well-rounded team that came together at the right time to claim the ultimate goal.
I think we had a really good team to do it, very long, very tall, probably one of the tallest teams in the state, and we have Grant, obviously.
We just had a group that was unselfish. They were competitive in practice, and when they got their opportunities at games, they took advantage of it, but it really was a well-rounded group of guys. And when you can point to seniors that, may not play 20 minutes a game or score 20 points a game, but are still there working hard every day, that's a powerful message, and it just kind of reverberated through our team.
If winning state wasn't enough, Grant Stubblefield and head coach Aaron Eim were named 6A Player and Coach of the Year.
I mean, he just really helped me stay consistent and patient because there's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and he kind of helped me stay consistent and stay level-headed. I mean, the season didn't really get off to the start that I wanted. I feel like I wasn't playing my best and our team wasn't playing our best, and he kind of just helped keep us calm and let us know that there was a lot of basketball left to be played and that we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of the season. He kind of restated that a lot, that we wanted to be our best towards the end of the season, and I feel like we were able to get there because of him.
I can't say enough about Grant Stubblefield. I love that dude. He has dedicated his heart and soul to our mission of winning a championship, and he set the tone every day by coming in and doing the extra work, not just working hard in practice, but getting up shots, getting his homework done so that he could get extra workouts in. He's going to have a lot more accolades, and he's going to deserve every one of them.
Though the team had to overcome many obstacles this season, in the end they pushed through and found success at the highest level. This is Ellie Votipka for Husky Headlines.
Basketball games really do add so much pride to our school.
But in order to continue the fun, we need more people to help. I looked into the worker shortage at sports events.
Sporting events are a beloved part of Northwest culture. However, a major problem continues to be the issue of finding enough extra duty workers to cover and work the games.
Right now with extra duty, we are struggling to fill worker spots. Our days are long and staff is hard to get here once it needs to leave after school. And there's also some staff that don't know necessarily what to do with the event, so they're a little nervous to sign up or not as eager to sign up.
The reasons for staff not being available on game nights are different for everyone, but most are due to not knowing how to do a particular job or simply not having enough time to do so.
It can be intimidating to run the scoreboard when parents or the crowd can get really loud. So if you make a mistake and their coach is yelling at you, or there are parents yelling at you, or people upset in the stands, you're there to help out, to help the school and to help the students here and to just be there so the players can play. And so it doesn't happen very often, but I know a lot of times, even just at the varsity level, when people are really passionate about what's going on, and then they have kind of that misdirected anger sometimes when a mistake happens.
The inability to find extra duty workers is not a new problem. It has been an issue at Northwest and other district schools for some time.
I don't know that it's changed as much from the past years because it's always been there. It's just through time, you end up getting a lot of times the same people that volunteer to do the activities. And so the new staff and the new people that come into the building don't necessarily know that they can volunteer, so they just don't.
So I have a Google sheet that I keep updated with all events, all changes, all the openings. It stays live so they can always go up on it, look at it, and then I fill it in. We have it on our staff Canvas page and I send it out every season and then follow up with it a couple of times so that all staff can look at it and let me know what they're able to work.
Despite not having enough people willing to work, there have been a few solutions that help minimize the problem.
Well, the solutions are people are stepping up and helping. I think people realize that they're important and that they are a necessity to any activity or game to take place. So we've been lucky, people are doing it. And the other part of the solution is the training that hopefully we're going to have during a professional development day to make people feel more comfortable to say, hey, you know, I can do that and I'm okay with that.
I think the first step is going to be training people so everybody's more comfortable with it. And so I think if everybody who is interested had the opportunity to either watch somebody keeping score or just sit down next to somebody and talk about what that looks like, they'd be a lot more comfortable doing it.
So if we're not able to fill these positions, either games could start to get canceled or we'll have the parents involved in the extra duty assignments, which could be biased. So that's the goal, to prevent that. But if we can't get these signed up, we've already had games this year where we've had to have parents work, which we're able to get the game through, but it's just not an ideal situation for anyone.
Even though there continues to be a shortage of extra duty workers, Northwest is lucky to have those who do go the extra mile to help students continue to have their favorite events. If you're interested in helping out with an event this spring, you are encouraged to see Miss Maloney. This is Nick Bogle for Husky Headlines.
Hey Rachel, do you ride the bus?
No, but our headline staff member Raven went up against a bus driver in our next edition of H2 Versus. According to District Transportation Supervisor Lisa Hoog, about 1 in 3 students in Blue Valley ride the bus. With the recent widespread driver shortages causing delays and inconsistencies, these students face constant uncertainty in their day-to-day lives. Northwest receptionist Sherry Laughlin is no stranger to these constant busing updates.
We had a little bit of a problem last year. You know, the first year I was here, it was COVID, so we didn't really have the busing issue because we didn't have students coming to school. Last year when we started back, it took the bus company a while to get enough employees, and so there was a little bit of a problem. Not as much as this year. This year has been a tough year for them.
With the need for more drivers heavily prevalent, in this episode of H2 Versus, we find out just how difficult driving a bus actually is. This is H2 Versus Bus Driving. Experienced Durham bus driver Olive Palou is the first to run the course.
I'm a sub driver. A sub driver is we fill in for anybody who doesn't show up or call in or somebody on vacation. So I could be any route. I can be doing a high school, I could be doing a middle school or elementary. I like my job because I like the hours. I work from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then I'm available between 9 and 2 o'clock. The other thing I do like about the route is the community. I like the location. I like my drive to get to work. I like the weekly pay, plus the pay is pretty good. I think the challenging part of this job, I think it's probably when people don't come to work due to, going on vacation or calling sick or something. I think that's the only challenging part for this job.
With that, it's time for senior headline staff member Raven Lopez to take the wheel.
So obviously I've never driven a bus before. I rode the bus last year, not for the full year, but for a little bit when I didn't have a car. When I first sat in the driver's seat, I got a little bit of nerves because, I'm getting behind a giant hunk of steel on wheels. But it really wasn't that bad. I was kind of excited to do it because, it's not often that, an 18-year-old kid just gets to hop in a bus and drive around for a second. It was very clear to see that he did much better than me. The fact that I missed the first turn, he obviously knew to do that. Also, the backing up bit. I was surprised, honestly, that you can move a bus like that, not even gonna lie, considering it's a bus. Honestly, I'm not even mad because it was pretty cool.
Upon reflection, it's the simple things that Lopez found challenging.
I'd say really the part that was the most difficult was figuring out how to learn the mirrors.
We have 7 extra mirrors that we can see in front of the bus, the bumper in front of the bus, what is 10 foot out in front of the bus. We can see down the sides of our bus.
In addition to the many mirrors, Durham buses have many safety features, including Drive Cam, an automated camera system designed for promoting safe driving, and the Child Check system, which involves drivers scanning every row and pushing a button at the back of the bus. While safety is a top priority, Durham bus drivers also strive to have a positive impact on students.
It's a good feeling when you drive a bus. To me, when you see smiling faces getting on the bus, you greet, because I'm the first one probably greet the kids besides mom and dad when they get up out of the house.
It's a rapport that you build, that you want to know the kids enough to know that they feel safe with you.
Being the person who's responsible for getting people to and from their specific place of education is a pretty important job. So it's really unfortunate that we have such a lack of them. So, you know, really, if you are thinking about it, you should just do it.
Those showing up are doing the best they can and then some. We just need more help from the community, more drivers.
You or someone you know can find out if you meet the requirements to be a bus driver at durhamschoolservices.com. This is Rachel Gillen for Husky Headlines. Bus drivers serve many important roles in our community, including being CPR trained.
Logan tells us more about the benefits of CPR.
CPR is a tool that could possibly save a life, and surprisingly, not many people know how to perform it. An organization called 13 Beats is hoping to change that, and recently held an instructional event attended by many members of the community.
It was enlightening. It was nice to know that I could learn CPR from that and be able to use it to possibly save someone's life. I received instruction from one of the firefighters there. It was really cool knowing that I had professionals to learn from and knowing that they've done it for a while and that I could learn something from them.
Many people believe CPR to be more difficult than it actually is. Over the years, CPR has changed drastically, becoming easier and more accessible.
CPR, when I first got out of nursing school, was a lot more complicated. You did chest compressions, and then you had to do so many breaths, and there were cycles, and they've really streamlined it quite a bit for just a lay person like you or your parents or whoever, that it's much, much simpler than it was. Healthcare professionals learn a little bit more of the complicated kind, but for the lay person, it's very, very easy, and it's not hard to learn at all. I would personally recommend someone learn CPR because it's really a matter of life and death. If someone has a cardiac arrest outside of a hospital setting, statistically 90% of them die. And there's over 350,000 cardiac arrests outside of the hospital every year, which is a lot of people. And if you know CPR, you can buy that precious time until the emergency medical services, the paramedics can get there with the defibrillator. So it's really, really, truly makes a difference between life and death.
Someone who knows all too well about the importance of CPR is 13 Beats co-founder Ashley Dwight.
So our goal with 13 Beats is to train as many people as we can for bystander CPR. After our son collapsed in August and he was saved by two men that provided bystander CPR until first responders arrived, and first responders didn't arrive very quickly, so they had to work really hard. The only reason our son's alive is because they saved his life. A big thing with us is that our son is so young at 17, and we have learned sudden cardiac arrest is the #1 killer of student athletes. So we feel it's really important for students to learn because they can be around each other. Our son could have been around any of his friends. So kids need to learn how to save kids. They need to learn how to save their parents. Parents need to know how to save their kids. So 13 Beats, we decided to start this, 13 being the amount of time that they worked on our son before first responders arrived, and Beats meaning heartbeats.
13 Beats plans to continue having events to spread awareness. Until the next event, you can check with the American Heart Association for more information about CPR. This is Logan Turk for Husky Headlines.
As we wrap up winter and head into spring, Ellie gives us this month's top 10 plays.
Good afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to this month's edition of Top 10. At number 10, we have junior Katie Mitchell hitting a 3-point shot in a sub-state game against Blue Valley High. The girls would go on to fall to the Tigers 41-32, ending their season 8-13. At number 9, we have junior Nemo Karani making a save against St. Thomas Aquinas in the championship game at the Mo Can tournament on March 31st. At number 8, we have the Northwest baseball team beating the Timberwolves 10-0, with the match being ended early due to the mercy rule at a game at home on April 4th. At number 7, we have junior Alyssa Gagnon scoring a goal in a game against St. Thomas Aquinas at the Mo Can tournament on March 31st. The Huskies would go on to lose to the Saints 4-1 in the final. At number 6, we have senior Leah Erickson placing second in the 1600 meter and third in the 800 meter. Junior Emma Bartholomew also placed second in the 100 meter and 300 meter hurdles at the Spring Classic Track and Field Invitational on March 31st. At number 5, we have a battery of home runs as sophomore Gabby McFall hit her first home run as a Husky in her first at-bat of the season. That same night, sophomore Samaya Edwards hit her first home run, and junior Josephine Johnson would not be left out as she went yard for the Huskies in a game against St. James on March 28th. The Huskies would go on to win both games of the doubleheader, 16-8 and 15-13. At number 4, we have junior Elise Grostadier taking the first place in discus and second in shot put, then senior Aiden Beheimer placing second in both discus and shot put at the Spring Classic Track and Field Invitational on March 31st. At number 3, we have the Northwest's boys swim team placing third at the 6A Swimming State Championship on February 18th, with senior Will Christie, senior DeMarcus Derensberg, and sophomore Micah Churchill being awarded the honor of first team All-State. On top of this, Christie placed first in the 500-meter freestyle. At number 2, we have two different school records being broken by the boys swim team as sophomore John Christensen, senior DeMarcus Derensberg, sophomore Micah Churchill, and senior Adam Kaler broke the medley relay school record that they set the day before in preliminaries with a time of 1 minute and 35.37 seconds. And Churchill breaking the school 100-meter butterfly record for the third time with a time of 49.21 seconds at the 6A Swimming State Championship on February 18th. Just days later, Northwest swim coach Kyle Farrington was named Keisha Swim Coach of the Year. And finally, at number 1, we have the boys basketball team beating Wichita Heights High School 55-50 on March 11th to bring home the 6A State Championship trophy, ending their season 21-4. Coach Aaron Ime was named Kansas 6A Coach of the Year, and senior Grant Stubblefield was named Kansas 6A Player of the Year. That's all for this month's edition of Top 10. See you next time.
Next, Allison tells us about two special students taking part in a unique sport.
Many students participate in a variety of sports at Northwest, but siblings Alex and Catherine Sweeney participate in a sport that not many people know much about.
I've been fencing for around 9 years. I wanted to start fencing because I saw it in a magazine and I thought it was cool.
He had been told by his father to be active, and he saw this fencing class and he wanted to take fencing. But at first I said no. I thought it was a phase, mostly because the parent had to attend at that age. I said, well, you can wait until you're older and then go by yourself. And sure enough, a year went by and he still wanted to try fencing. So he got to go fencing. Catherine started fencing much later. With Catherine, how she started mostly was her brother.
I used to do CrossFit, but then with COVID, the classes just got canceled and they weren't happening anymore, but I felt like I wanted to be more active, and my brother has fenced for a long time. And he said it would be fun and he recommended it to me.
This shared hobby has helped the two siblings grow closer together.
I think my brother has been my biggest mentor because he started before me and he's always been there to encourage me to try harder.
I think it's a very rare when you have a brother and sister. They have a very good relationship. Looks, Alex is the really stepping in the older brother, older sibling who is taking care of sister. Not that she need much taking care, but in the beginning she was a little bit shy when she came. She was a little bit hesitant. Now she's not. Now she's pretty confident and strong.
I think we've just kind of grown a bit closer, considering we just found something that we both enjoy doing together.
It gives them something that they have in common, and it gives them something that they do without their parents. And I love that. So that's really been great.
Fencing, however, does come with a lot of misconceptions that surround the sport.
People think that they watch movies and think this is fancy. People stay one place and they swing their swords, and wrong. Fencing is semi-dynamic sport. It's very quick sport.
I think also a lot of people seem to think that it might be dangerous. It's not. It's one of the safer sports when you compare it to something like football, where you can get concussions, you're completely protected.
It's not dangerous. It's safe, it's fun, it's easy, it's affordable, it's amazing.
Heartland Fencing Academy has proven to provide a positive environment for the Sweeneys that helps them to improve as people outside of just matches.
My favorite part about fencing is that it's fun, it's unique, and I get to do it with my brother.
These kids are fencing, and some of them won today, some of them lost to them, but they still continue. They're going through all of this. They're learning how to get better. They're learning how to deal with stress. This is all of the good stuff that is going to help you in every life activity, in everything in life. So that's why fencing is super important in this way. It's never too late to start fencing, but better start as soon as you can.
Their mother, Edie Sweeney, hopes to see her children continue to fence even as adults in the adult fencing classes that Heartland Fencing Academy offers. This is Allison Jones for Husky Headlines.
Every sport needs strong leaders. In this next story, Logan goes one-on-one with softball captain Danny Waller.
As anyone who has played a team sport knows, it takes a lot more to win games than just talent. I go one-on-one with Northwest softball captain Danny Waller to discuss leadership and what it means to be a good teammate.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with Northwest softball?
Northwest softball has been amazing. Coming out of COVID year when I was a freshman, I was really looking for some friends in high school because everything was super weird, and I found that right away, and it just continued to be a great community.
Would you recommend to Northwest students to play softball?
Yes, I would. They're going to meet some amazing people, and I think softball's super fun, but even if you don't like the sport, you're going to have so much fun because the coaches really make sure that you're enjoying it.
Well, congrats on being named captain. How did you feel when you found out?
Oh, I was super excited. I'm very grateful that I was named captain because it means that I was doing the right things as a freshman and sophomore to be worthy of the title, so I'm really grateful for that.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it means to you and Northwest softball to be a good teammate?
Definitely. So being a good teammate is really one of the most important parts of being on a team. You can't just do it for yourself because you're on a team, so you have to be hardworking 100% of the time, positive, You have to be able to motivate other people to do their best. And I think when you're bettering yourself and you're improving your team.
What are some of your goals for the team this year?
As a team, we have goals, to win at least half of our games or have a certain batting average. But for me personally, I really want to, bring the team together because we're all going to be here next year. So I think it's really important that we learn from our errors and what challenges we go through and things like that we can learn and grow so we can be stronger next year.
Waller is committed to bringing a positive attitude to the field every day and plans on continuing to better herself and her team. This is Logan Turk for Husky Headlines.
Up next, Allison gives us the next edition of Northwest 30th Anniversary Trivia.
Welcome to the April edition of BV&W Trivia, Huskies. We once again ask students questions about unforgettable moments in the past 30 years of our school shared to us by original staff members. Who was the first cheerleading coach?
I don't know. The only person that's going to mine is Senora Smith, but I don't think she was here at the very beginning.
Miss Howard.
Mrs. Barnes.
We first opened, I was the cheerleading coach for 3 years.
What varsity sport did Northwest not have in its first year?
Baseball. Basketball.
Badminton.
We didn't have a varsity football team the first year because we couldn't have one according to state regulations. So we just played JV football.
Finally, which one of these areas was the only one in the original floor plan of the school? The new gym, the broadcast room, the little theater, the 400s hallway, the engineering room, the circle drive, the weight room, or the pool?
The little theater. The broadcast room.
The weights room.
The answer is the 400s hallway.
We have added the pool. We've now added the new gym. We added the room that I'm in, the broadcast room, the weight room. We've added onto the art wing. We've added a little theater.
And they redid the front of the school. And I think that was more of a safety thing because you could drive right up to the school, and so they just changed the landscaping.
The original school was much smaller than the footprint we have now.
Now, here's an extra bonus memorable moment.
The very first graduation, I was the assistant tennis coach, and 2 boys had made state, and the boys' season is in the spring, and the boys' parents wanted the boys to be able to play at state in Wichita, but also be at graduation on Friday night. And the district kind of explained that there's no way to get them back in time and then get them back to Wichita to play Saturday. They said, well, you could fly them. So the district said, okay. So the district chartered a plane to fly the 2 boys back from Wichita from the tennis to Northwest for graduation, which was in the DAC. When we got to the airport in Wichita, there was no plane. And this was before cell phones as well. So we had no way to contact the school to see what we could do. So I just pulled out my credit card and said, I need a plane and a pilot. And the charter company said, okay. So I got us a plane and a pilot, and they flew us back on the private plane, and he flew over the DAC, because again, we couldn't contact anybody. So they flew over the DAC and wagged the wings like this just so everybody there would know, oh, that's probably the tennis players. and they held up graduation for a little bit. I mean, it was only about 10 minutes late getting started. And the boys were changing in the van as we were driving back from the airport here down in Johnson County Executive Airport. I was driving, the boys were changing, and we made it to graduation.
We hope you learned something new about the 30 years of history of Northwest. This is Allison Jones for Husky Headlines.
Those were some good questions.
Finally, we go to Raven, who tells us about a beloved teacher and his departure from Northwest.
Assistant Band Director Kenneth Tysick has announced his departure from Northwest at the end of the school year to become the new band director at Harmony Middle School. Although this news may be sad, Northwest Band appears to have a positive attitude about the situation.
I kind of pieced it together before he announced it because the only 2 times an all band meeting was called like that before was when the 2 former band directors announced they were leaving. And since my brother's in middle school at Harmony, I knew that that position would be opening, and Mr. Tysick is honestly like a good candidate for it because he's already gone to the middle school and interacted with them. So I wasn't that surprised, but it was definitely still hard to hear. There's a lot of things that make him a really good teacher. For one, he talks more to you instead of at you and gives more individual comments, which really helps me improve as a musician. And it's more interactive, I suppose, which is I think really beneficial to both him and us. For me personally, I think it's a really positive thing because when he and Dr. Kirk first came to Northwest, they did a really good job of turning our band program around and taking it to the next level. So I have no doubt he'll be able to do that for Harmony, and that's really important for our band program. So I think he'll make a positive impact on the area as a whole. Last time there was a change in band directors, there was 2 new band directors, so it was really hard for everyone. And the drum majors did a really great job of overseeing that and really helping the band feel comfortable around them. And so I hope I can do a similar thing for the bands, and Nick Westerhouse will be able to as well, because if we're welcoming to the new band director, everyone else will be more open-minded to that. It's definitely bittersweet, but I think he's going to do a great job at Harmony, and I think there's going to be some great musicians that come to Northwest under his direction.
The best news about this is that he stays in our feeder area. So all the students he will teach in band at Harmony will be in band at Northwest, and that is a win for our program. We're sad that we're going to miss Mr. Tysick day to day here. He is a master teacher and a good friend. It's fun to share an office with him. So we'll miss him day to day, but we know in the big picture the teaching will pay off and our band program will be bigger and stronger because he's at Harmony. We came on as 2 new directors together. We knew each other before coming to Northwest, so we worked pretty well as a team before, but we've worked really in tandem to grow and rebuild the program here. So he's been crucial to that. Our students love him. I think the students were initially sad, because we're going to miss him day to day, but I think they're excited about what it will do for our program. We'd just like to say a big thanks to Mr. Tysick. He's a friend of mine, he's a teacher to our students, but we laugh so often around here and we have so much fun. And we're just thankful that he's been with us for 2 years and he's going to continue to be with us just from across 135th Street.
I was excited and sad at the same time. I was excited for the opportunity to move down to the middle school to the grade that, levels that I really, really enjoy, 6th, 7th, and 8th, in that beginning band level. But I was sad to leave the students and staff here. It came quick. Once Mr. Crow submitted those materials that said he was officially leaving, that's when I kind of swooped in and had the interview really quickly, and things went really fast. And that's when we decided to have that meeting. We wanted to tell them all at once, and I wanted it to come from me rather than them finding out through other outlets. I am excited to grow the Harmony Band program. I want to encourage students to continue in band from each grade level. I really, really want to recruit at the 5th grade level going in. I want to lead the Harmony Band program into Kansas Music Educators Association in-service workshop performance, which is the state convention. So it's like a state championship in music, essentially. I absolutely love the students here, and I just want every student in the Northwest Band program to know that I absolutely love them, and I will be there at the middle school level supporting them and watching them grow, and I want to still be able to inspire them at the middle school level. When we have feeder events, I want to see you, I want to talk with you, I want to know everything that you're doing in high school, and I want to make sure you know that I will be there for you even at the middle school level.
As the saying goes, once a Husky, always a Husky, and Tysick is no exception to that rule. This is Raven Lopez for Husky Headlines.
That's it for the April edition of Husky Headlines. Have a great day, Northwest.